that would solve. Do I need to start back? Or do I just go ahead?
You can just go ahead. Thank you.
Right. Okay, nice. So when I put together innovative impact and meaningful, innovative concepts and meaningful impact, what comes to mind is innovative impact. And what I explain that is innovative impact to me is creating ideas to solve problems, real life problems within our communities, to empower and improve lives of the people around us. And I feel like that's what we'll be discussing about today, a bit more into my journey as an entrepreneur and zooming out into some of the lessons and some of the strategies that I have personally used that has guided me throughout my entrepreneurial journey. So next slide, please. So a greater part of my journey is centered on user-centered design, is equally known as human-centered design, right? I prioritize understanding the people's needs before creating a solution. I feel like every entrepreneur, every innovator, every aspiring entrepreneur, every solution or problem solver should think from the people or the user's point to be able to come up with a unique solution that would benefit not just the user, but equally them. Because if you have a product that no one is using or no one needs, nobody would really find interest. So I have learned throughout my journey that it's important to put the user at the center, and coupled with my skills in business development that I've been able to acquire over the years, I've been able to use this, and it has guided me to be able to create the impact or make a difference within different sectors in my communities, right? Next slide, please. Okay, so where am I coming from, or how do I get here, or how did I get here? I have a bachelor's degree in banking and finance, and I have an MBA in marketing. But I started my journey or my career as an administrative assistant, and I so badly wanted to get into business, but I didn't have the right skills. I felt like I needed to learn how to just communicate, get people on my team, talk to people, and a lot more. And I decided to join a network marketing company called Total Life Change at the time. And through that, I learned how to be a team player, a team leader. I learned how I developed my interpersonal skills. I developed my communication skills. And that's how I started building, because I knew that I need these things. I need people to be able to grow a team, to be able to grow a business, to be able to even grow a concept or an idea. I need people. I needed to understand how to interact with people, learn how to interact with people. And my time as a network marketer or multi-levels marketer gave me an opportunity to learn these skills that I felt like I needed. And as I continue in my journey, I didn't quit my job. I did that and my job. Fast forward later, I then got into operations. I now started doing administration and operations. But because of my finance background, I also got into finance because it's easy to handle operations and finance as well. So later on in my career, I started taking on finance opportunities as well. But I also started my first company after that because I had learned what I felt I needed to start up my own business. So I started my own business called Nefco. Nefco is a cable supply business that I started. It's my first ever company. And I saw a need. I was working with a contractor who was dealing in electrical supplies. And it was more of heavy duty electrical supplies. And they were not interested in selling cables. They were selling transformers, electric poles, and things like that. So I thought it was an opportunity for me to start that business. It started off well, went on well, until I didn't understand some details into the business, and then partnered with the wrong person. And that shortly after that was the end of that business. But for the time that I was in that business, it was exciting because I was a woman, and it's a space that is highly male dominated. It's highly male. It's more dominated than, I'd say, the technology space, because it's more like an engineering space, right? So it was exciting because more people wanted to see young women come up, but also more challenging because sometimes you get into the space and the men around you feel like you don't know what you're talking about, and you have to prove yourself pretty much. So partnering with the wrong person also, didn't help the case. So that came to a stop as well. That came to a stop. Shortly after, I didn't quit my job. You see the strains there. There's an overview of my background, but I keep it going because a lot of people feel like entrepreneurship, you must quit your job before you start. I still did not quit my job at this point. I was still doing my business and going to work. After this business failed, I continued with my job and then started another business. Now, this was me I had to collaborate with other people to come up with this business. This business was to empower young emerging entrepreneurs using the multi-level marketing model of business, right? And when we started, it was called Dynamic Safety Nets. When we started, we were a vibrant team. We had done business in other multi-level marketing businesses. So we already knew our strengths and our weaknesses. So we came together as a big team to form this business, and it was thriving. We were impacting entrepreneurs. We were using trainings. We were inviting speakers and things like that. But what we did not pay attention to is the target audience. Who are we targeting? Are we targeting everybody? Is everybody called out to be an entrepreneur, to be a business person? We didn't have that factored in. So we were more or less just attracting everyone. Come and be part of the thing, learn a skill, go and start up a business, go and learn a business, and things like that. And when the socio-political crisis started in the southwest of Cameroon, we were the first people that was hit because our business was highly based on services, and we needed to gather people because we were training, we were empowering, we were moving from place to place. But when that crisis came, there was a curfew. We couldn't move. We couldn't be seen in big gatherings. We couldn't have our trainings as often as we could. We were not doing the impact, right? And that opened up a need, a lack that we were not paying attention to. We were not paying attention to implementing or intertwining technology into our solution. So before we started thinking of what is the next best step, COVID was here. So that was a long pause into going back to the structure. In that time, however, we had created a hub for entrepreneurs because the organization had grown really fast and really big, and we were more like a hub at the time, training and grooming young emerging entrepreneurs, connecting with mentors, existing entrepreneurs who want to mentor other entrepreneurs, because we also realized that was a lack within our community. We wanted to see more entrepreneurs holding hands of younger aspiring entrepreneurs. But with the heat of COVID, that was also very strained, and that concept came to a halt. And during that time, I still had not left my job, but I had picked on another skill because COVID, the crisis, gave me an idea, gave me an opportunity to see that we needed to go deep into technology. We needed to wrap our solutions around technology. So I started learning design. I started designing for my own business. I started using design as a means to an end. I started getting design jobs. Then I came across the human-centered design. Curious about what that was, I started digging deep, I started learning more, and that's how I acquired a degree in UI UX. But then I created another company. I co-founded another company because at the time, my co-founder had just birthed the concept, and we needed to structure it a bit more to suit our community, to suit the times, because it was towards the COVID time, and also to encourage more women. We had seen that very few women are in the tech space. We wanted to come up with a solution that would suit the time, encourage and empower more women, which is closing the gender divide gap in the tech ecosystem, and just still be sustainable regardless of the times or the seasons that were, or the era that we were in. And we restructured the company and called it Data Girl Tech. And from there, we started training. We started our trainings online. We started our trainings in small groups. We started our trainings on WhatsApp, and it was flowing and it was going. But then I realized as well that there was a lack, not everybody was jumping into tech, because when we had, say, 50 women or 100 women signed up in our programs, we end up having just about 80% of that number completing the course, right? So my concern was for the 20. What's happening? Why are this 20% of people dropping off? I got to understand that some of them are not very open to the idea of, tech. They don't want to learn coding. Most of them just want to start up a business. They just want to learn something about technology, how they can wrap up tech into their businesses and start up a business. Some of them were entrepreneurs who just need to, get tech into their businesses and, start up the African Enterprising Woman. Now, the African Enterprising Woman is to foster young, emerging entrepreneurs. It's like a hub for women entrepreneurs, right? I'd already had an idea of what a hub looks like, but I had not found that same space just for women or aspiring women entrepreneurs. So I decided to come up with the African Enterprising Woman, a safe space for young, emerging entrepreneurs and expert entrepreneurs to mentor others, mentor other entrepreneurs, and get to connect and get to build sustainable businesses. So throughout my journey, I had used skills from, my career as a administrator, getting into operations and finance, and then, settling on user-centered design or human-centered design to come up with the two current companies that I'm running, which is Data Girl Technologies and the African Enterprising Woman. Next slide, please. Please feel free to let me know if there's a comment, because I'm using my phone, so I can't see the chat. Right. So my passion for technology and problem solving and women empowerment helped a great deal to shape my career, because after failing in two businesses, the normal thing to do, or the African thing to do, is to just, sit down and focus on my job, right? But I kept on digging. I kept on pushing to see what exactly the problem is, what exactly are the lessons that I've been able to learn throughout my career, throughout my journey as an emerging entrepreneur at the time, what exactly I wasn't doing right, how I could do better, what else I'm not doing right, who I could connect with. And throughout that, I was able to, understand that it's important to build any solution that you're building as an innovator, as an entrepreneur, as an emerging entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur. It's important to build from the user's mindset, from the user's perspective. Once you start thinking and understanding or looking at things through the lens of the user, then it's impossible not to solve a problem. You're able to come up or address any form of complex challenge that you're faced with within any communities. Next slide, please. So we've been talking human-centered design. I just wanted to, break that up a bit. So user-centered design or human-centered design is a problem-solving process that starts with the people you're designing your solutions for. Now, if you're going to come up with, you're going to start a business, you should first of all address a problem, right? If your business is out for profit making or for money making only, then it's not very sustainable. But if your business is stemmed from a problem or a solution to a problem that your users are truly facing, then you have I'd say you have an innovative concept. Because from there you can build on to how you can ask the user how you can help them solve that problem, and you can come up with suggestions on how you can help the user solve that problem. And through that process, you can design a sustainable solution, which becomes a sustainable business for your consumers or for your user. Now, the HCD has a few processes, just like design thinking. You start with empathizing. You must put yourself in the shoes, your thoughts. Imagine you being the user. You have to put yourself in the shoes of the user, and then you'll be able to analyze the problems that they are going through. And then from there, you're able to ideate, come up with possible different solutions that could solve that problem that you have identified. And then you design a prototype. So a first framework of a solution, right? That you propose to the user and have them test it and have them try it and give you feedback. From that feedback, you're able to evaluate. From that
Looks like we lost Frida. Just gonna give her a few minutes to see if she joins us back. We cannot hear you, Frida.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me now? Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't
much better
realize
now.
that I was
Thank you.
mute.
That's okay.
Okay. So from the feedback I was saying, you can now use what you get to go back, redesign, reframe, and repackage the solution or the possible solution for the user. At the end of the day, the user would be the main person that decides that gives you the feedback that you need for you to continue giving them the solution that they need, that they really need, right? So there are three things to have in mind when you're designing a solution from a user's angle. First of all, the desirability. Whatever you're bringing to the table, whatever solution or possible solution, after you've been able to identify the pain point and all of that, it must be mentioned again from the people's perspective. You start with the desirability. Is it relevant? What you're doing, is it desirable? Do they want it? Right? And then we move to feasibility. What is the tech component in it? How are you using technology to bridge that gap, to design that solution? What is the innovation in that solution, right? And then, of course, once you have that settled and you've gone through this cycle, then you can say you have a business, because you have created a need that the people really need, right? So put it in context in the businesses that I've been able to run. DataGirl, for example, when we started DataGirl, it was more of training young women on how to, use technology, just like basic computer literacy, digital literacy, just teaching them how to go about using computer, using technology for good, just that basics. And then we realized that there are key roles, there are key job opportunities, there are problems within our communities that we need more women to be part of. Because of the COVID, we realized that staying at home, working remotely, there was a huge outpour or outbreak of tech jobs, tech opportunities that was available. And we realized that a lot of women were not taking part or taking advantage of this opportunity. And that for us was the cue. We needed to start designing hands-on courses that would help these women learn and then get jobs. We needed to design something that would get them getting jobs from the comfort of their home. Looking at the fact that first we were just coming out of the crisis, of the heat of the crisis, not like the crisis was done, then COVID came. So a lot of women were home, a lot of people were home, but majority were women who were not doing a lot. So we had seen the market, we had spoken with some of these women and they were open to the idea. A lot of them were coming in to learn just the basic digital literacy. Then we realized that digital literacy is good, but it would just get their foot in the door, right? It wouldn't get them the global opportunities, the global jobs. It wouldn't put them in the global market. We needed to do something more. Then we started designing courses like full stack web development, like digital marketing, like cyber security, and all of these courses like UI UX designs, just to get them up to speed so that they can start taking on some of these global remote opportunities, which is what we did. Right. So you want to be able to design your idea, around the user. It should be relevant to the user and not to you. I cannot overemphasize on that, but let's go on. Right. Next slide, please. So some actionable strategies. I feel like these are things that you already know or things that I've already mentioned, but just for the sake of highlighting, when you're designing an innovative idea, right, you should understand the why. Why are you doing it? The purpose of your doing it, it's the foundation. It should be the foundation. Every impact journey starts with a clear understanding of the problem you want to solve. What exactly are you targeting as a problem? When you understand what the problem is, you are able to identify who the problem is for, who is faced with this problem pretty much. So you have to be able to ask the right questions, because when you leverage on the user-centered design or the user-centered design approach, it becomes easier for you to identify the who. So go back to the context of DataGirl Tech. Our solution, our problem was we identified a huge gender gap in the tech ecosystem in Cameroon and across Africa, and we are targeting women within the age of 18 to 35. There's a group. We want to be able to train these ones so that as they grow, they also grow in the tech career and the tech ladder. So we can see women in leadership positions in a couple of years in the future. We can see women in the tech leadership, in taking on tech jobs, taking on tech opportunities. That was the goal for us at the time when we started in 2020. That was the goal for us. And so far, we have been able to train and empower a huge sum. We're up to close to 3,000 at this point, but we are only now focusing on getting them up to the ladder, because a good number of them, we have about 30% of them who have been able to get jobs. 30% of them who have been able to get paid internships, who have been able to grow in that ladder, right? Who have been able to use tech, not to focus on tech, but use tech as a tool to start their own businesses. So we have like a good amount of, we see the success stories, and it's making us realize that, oh, this thing we started a couple of years ago is yielding fruits only now. Because now we are living post-COVID. We are seeing that some people, even when they travel out of Cameroon, they are able to, get jobs immediately. They leave the country, and it's now we are understanding that the solution that we came up with that time is actually, it was actually right for the people. And through that, we are now making sales just by referencing these success stories, right? And that can be the same approach that you take, right? So after you're able to, identify the problem, know your why, know your who, then you define the how. You're able to define, okay, how do we go about this? What is the tech component in this? How do we use technology to make this quicker, to make this faster, to make this effective, less expensive, to make this cheaper, to make this affordable, And then you are able to wrap that all together to come up with a solution, a sustainable solution that would give you an innovative impact, right? So yeah, next slide, please. So some things that are worth mentioning. Starting up a business or coming up from a concept into a business is not magic. It's not as quick as this sounds. It's not as quick as I say it. It's a process, right? Once you're done with figuring out who you want to sell to, in that process of being done, not even once you're done, in that process of being done, because once you identify a problem, I always advise start talking to somebody, because you cannot have every skill that you need on your team to grow. Even if you have, you might not have the right proportion that would be able to scale the company to move from one level to the next, right? So there are people who would say, I'm a jack of all trades, I'm a jack of many trades. Yes, but they're specialists in different parts of your business that you need to trust with your idea, and see that they buy in that idea and that vision to be able to run and scale it to the next level. Now, as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, I always advise it's good to be a jack of many trades. I am one of those people who advise that, because I've seen how that has impacted me in my business, right? I do a lot of things. Coming through my career, I've been able to work in different sectors. I've been able to freelance and meet with different people. So I've been able to learn across different sectors, right? But I can't pride myself to say I'm a full stack web developer, for example. My co-founder is. And now if we're gonna design a course around full stack web development, I must get an expert. I must get someone who is a full stack web developer to start with and understands the concept and can teach it to somebody else. Because I can say, oh, go to YouTube and watch. And then when they come back with questions, when the students come back with questions, how do I tackle that? I must be able to work with someone who can, right? So it's the same thing. I always encourage teamwork makes the dream work. You must be able to get someone or some people who understands the concept or understand your vision and have the right skill and resources. Now, someone might not have the proper skill, but they have the resources. The resources could be money, could be network to push your idea to the next level. You can collaborate with those people. They can come in your team and you're able to build your idea from one point to the next. Another thing that is highly overlooked or underlooked? Maybe underlooked, is mentors. People who have gone before you in that sector, people who have gone before you in any sector, people who are just older than you. A mentor could be anybody, as long as they have a bit more experience than you. Their experience would be a good shoes to fit in your feet, right? Their experience would be a good lesson for you to look and learn, right? Sometimes it's not their success stories. Sometimes it's just their failure stories that make your experience better, lighter, and less complex, right? So we must try, as innovators and as entrepreneurs, we must try to have one or two more mentors. I call them expert entrepreneurs, but sometimes your mentors must not be an entrepreneur. Your mentor could just be a very skilled professional who has been through the structures of a business and understands the ropes so well that they can just advise you on how to structure your business. Because you can have an amazing concept, an amazing idea. You've been able to identify that this thing you're bringing to the table solves the user's problems, but you lack the right structure to build your business, and that doesn't fly, that doesn't scale, that is not sustainable. So we need mentors. I kind of emphasize on that. We need people that would challenge us to do the right thing, because the journey of entrepreneurship, or the journey of being an inventor, is not a smooth sail. There's a lot of uncertainties, there's a lot of doubts, there's a lot of confusion. So you need someone to either inspire, just guide, or advise, or nudge you and say, hey, you're doing good, don't give up, right? Also, when you're dealing with innovation, you have to be open-minded. Innovation is not linear. Like I said, you have to be open to feedback, you have to be open to change. When we started Dynamic Safety Nets, we were all about the go, go, go. We had identified that there's not a lot of young people who are open to the mindset of entrepreneurship. A lot of young people are looking at government jobs, waiting on the government, they're writing concours, government exams. They're excited about the next job, the next internship, and nobody was trying to be proactive to start up their own thing. Well, not nobody, a few people. So we wanted to create something that would push young people into embracing the idea of entrepreneurship and starting up their own ventures. So when we started, we didn't envisage the socio-political crisis. We didn't envisage the COVID era. We were just like, we are the people, gather here and we're going to teach you how to, grow a business, start a business and grow a business. We know the right people. We had a wealth of network and we were looking good. We had a mad rush of people. And then the crisis came and took us immediately out of business. So we were not focused on the innovative side. We were more focused on, pouring out a solution that we thought was very, very accurate at the time. So I'm just, hammering on the point that innovation is not linear. Innovation is flexible. You have to go with the flow, right? Now we are talking AI. 10, 20 years ago, no one really thought that AI was a possibility, right? But now we are talking AI. And if you're not incorporating that into your work or seeing how that can be beneficial to your work to make you more efficient and effective in the work that you do, you are slowly going to be washing out of fashion or going out of business, right? So you need to be able to, incorporate that and be up to date with technology pretty much. And then you have to be able to measure your impact. From that time to now, how fast have you grown? How much have you grown? You should be able to measure this so that you can be able to make adjustments along your journey. Be able to even just appraise how far you've come or help you develop where you feel like you're lacking. So you must be able to measure your impact or design metrics around, clear metrics around designing, about measuring, I beg your pardon, measuring your impact and reflect on the work that you're doing in achieving the goals that you set, right? So yeah, next slide, please. Okay, so throughout my journey, I have also faced some challenges. There are a lot of them, but I highlighted this 3 because I feel like every young woman entrepreneur, or every entrepreneur pretty much, besides the first one, goes through the last 2, right? So as a woman entrepreneur, the first one is more major. So most female entrepreneurs or female business people, leaders, be it in the tech space or non-tech space, go through the gender bias challenge. As a woman, first you get into a space, most of the challenges that I faced was not being taken seriously. So you have to pretty much prove and reprove yourself before you're seen, you're heard, you're accepted within the ecosystem. So that was the first mega challenge. Way back, right on from my first business, Nefco, I was getting into a space that was very male dominated. Secondly, when I got Dunamis Safety Net, it was more of entrepreneurship. I didn't really feel the heat in Dunamis because we were mostly women. We were a 90% women team, and just 10%, we had just few men in the team. So there was that community, right? We could shield each other from that heat from outside. But the challenge was still there because you have to, overemphasize, you have to pretty much show your journey and track every part of your journey to prove that you are capable of doing this and you're an expert in what you're doing and you know what you're talking about. So that that has been the major struggle, but it's nothing to worry about. Challenges will always be there. Whether you're a woman or man, you're going to face challenges in the business space. So you must be able to come into the space ready for those challenges, those setbacks. The second thing is limited resources. Now, besides financial resources, we had human resources that were like big problems. I tell you how. A lot of young people who came into the team excited, or who comes into the team excited, first from NEFCO, you find out that the young person that I partner with, who came in as a team member, decided to got excited about money, because when money started coming in, we were doing supplies, right? They got excited about the money. They saw the money and they were excited, and they decided to, start stealing some of that money to do their other things. So they got distracted by that money. And in other businesses, we have young people who come in excited about the concept and then get distracted by work, get distracted by their own challenges. They get distracted by different life challenges. Some start up their own, some leave to go start up their own businesses, some start a job because really we don't have the right amount of money to pay them what they need to keep them sustained by themselves. And all of that hurdles, right? It makes it difficult to run a business without help, right? So we need financial resources, we need human resources to be able to stay sustainable. We also need infrastructure resources. So those are some of the challenges that we faced under limited resources, right? Mindset is one of the biggest challenges that are faced by both men and women entrepreneurs. Mindset. And I say this because being an entrepreneur is more like diving into a big body of water and not having a roadmap. There's hardly ever a roadmap. I wouldn't say no, because there are some businesses that have patterns that you must just follow and it stays sustainable. But there are other businesses that you must just dive in. You see the possibilities and you keep going. You just trust your gut, trust the mistakes that other people have made, learn from the mistakes that other people have made, trust yourself, trust your team, trust the people around you, and then you take a leap and you keep going. So breaking that mindset sometimes is not easy. Sometimes you feel challenged, you feel overwhelmed. Sometimes you see a better offer, right? I tell you what, when I just started, I was still holding up to my job for the fear of losing out on everything. Like I needed some form of income so that I can pour into my business. I need money to come in. So having a job was the one thing, the one stream that I knew how before, totally cutting off my job to, focus fully on my business. I held on to my job for a long time. And I always advise young emerging entrepreneurs to do the same. When you're not sure that you're ready to take a leap, you can hold on to a job, hold on to some form of income, right? Some other people don't hold on to jobs, but they just take advantage of grants writing and and investors and things like that. But before you're able to embrace those, I always advise, if you can get a job, if you have a job, hold on to that job until you're sure about your solution, and then you can dive in fully, right? So those are some of the challenges that I faced, that I feel like it cuts across young entrepreneurs, emerging entrepreneurs, even expert entrepreneurs. It's not only about young emerging entrepreneurs. I still know a lot of big expert entrepreneurs, like I call them, who go through the gender bias, who are women, who go through discrimination in the tech ecosystem and in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. I still know that a lot of women entrepreneurs struggle with resources because there's not a lot of funding allocated to women-owned businesses. And we always encourage any government who's listening, any government official who's listening, that when we're talking policy, please put in a word for women entrepreneurs, because we need the resources to be able to grow sustainable businesses. On to the next, please. And some of the lessons that I've learned: persistence pays off. Persistence pays off. I can't overemphasize on the fact that the journey of creating impact is not a short journey. It's not a smooth sail. You must be able to open your hands, open your mind to setbacks. You must be able to open your mind to defeat challenges and things like that. But don't give up, keep pushing, trust the process. Another thing is collaboration is key. You can't do it all on your own. You might be the smartest person in the team, but you still just need the help of a janitor to come early, open and clean for you to come in and sit in a sparkling clean office. You still need the help of your co-worker to just, brush off that idea or give you that confirmation that you need to say, this is a clean design, this is a clean work, this is a clean solution, or this is something good. To give you the encouragement that you need to say, hey, let's jump. Let's jump right now. Let's not procrastinate. Let's do it now. To hold you accountable, right? So please do not feel like you can do it on your own. You also need collaboration. You need someone. I always say to my mentees, there's always somebody else out there that has the other part of the puzzle that you have, that you need, right? So you need someone. You have an idea. You just need someone who has a complementing idea for you to be able to make that magic. So please do not, shy away from collaborating. There's never such a thing as they're going to steal my idea. Anybody trying to steal your idea, just go and collaborate with someone, okay? And the last thing on the list that I've learned throughout my own journey is innovation requires continuous learning. You can't just learn one thing now and boom, that's it. There's a lot of evolution happening. There's a lot of innovation happening. There's a lot of new things, new technology happening. You must be able to follow the trend. You must be able to learn every day. You must be able to stay humble and understand that these things are growing and evolving, not because they need you to keep up to speed. It's just that times are different. So that change is constant. So you need to constantly open up your mind to that change, dive into change, learn. If you cannot learn something full time, just hire somebody who is an expert in it, and get them into your business and get them to get your business up to the trend. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is just a small write-up to say that throughout my journey, I faced a lot of challenges, but those challenges have helped me. They're more like a backbone into my journey, right? And each obstacle, whether it's navigating the gender bias or securing funding or bridging the gender gap in the tech ecosystem, or just scaling, right? All of these have taught me important lessons of resilience, adaptability, and just a sense of community. We need one another to be able to grow and stay sustainable. So today, these challenges continue to inspire the way I approach my work, and I remain committed to using the human-centered design approach, to drive meaningful impact for women and for the communities across Africa. Thank you very much. I think that should be the last slide. Next slide, please. Oh, okay. Now, this is a sound reminder that the user is king. The user is your boss. As my Nigerian people will say, the user is your oga. The user is the reason why you start. So I think that's the last slide for sure. Next slide, please. Yep, thank you very much. Now I can take questions.
Thank you so much, Frida, for your insightful presentation. As you just mentioned, we'll now open the floor for questions. If anyone has a question, please feel free to raise your hand or type it in the chat. We'll address them one by one, and we encourage you all to take this opportunity to engage and dive deeper into the topics discussed. So thank you again, Frida.
Thank you for having me. Okay, I think I see some questions in the chat. Can I just jump onto those ones before?
Of course, yeah, go ahead.
The only one I see is the one from Awa. So if there's anyone before that, please just resend. Awa says that what tools? Okay, let's see. Can you please elaborate a little bit more on these questions? What tools or resources do you use to learn design? Okay, very basically, I started with Canva and poster my wall. That is how my journey started. My journey in design started. I learned from there, and then I took a course online, and I took a course on Coursera. I learned. I had that certification, and then I started getting into freelance opportunities to practice what I've been learning, and that's how I was able to grow in my skills as a designer. I hope that answers that. What ongoing strategies do you keep as what ongoing strategy you keep using as you target your customer in the competitive environment? So breaking or explaining a bit more about the user-centered approach. What we do is for every cohort that we launch, before we launch every cohort, we try to get feedback from the students. We try to also speak to the parents, right? So on one hand, we're speaking to students. On the other hand, we're speaking to parents. Now, when we're speaking to students, we're trying to understand the difficulty, the challenges that they face, getting some information from them, how we can solve the current, how we can make better the courses, the cohorts, the different cohorts, and the flexibility and all of that. So from there, we refine that and we put out a better message to parents. Sometimes we speak to them one-on-one just to get them to understand a bit more what the importance of tech is and how it will impact the students' traditional education trajectory. So some of them share with us their fears. Some of them get to understand, give us an opportunity to explain and get to understand the importance or the relevance of the courses that we offer, right? So that helps us to develop a better comeback every now and then. That's for Data Girl. Now, for the African Enterprising Woman, I didn't speak much about it because it's a non-for-profit organization and most of our trainings and programs are for free. So we get fundings, grants, and we reach out to rural communities, women in rural communities, small business owners, and we try to help them polish off the skills that they already started and help them with some little capital to build up their businesses. So that is almost automatic. There's no strategy. Like once we've been fortunate to see women who are passionate and excited about growth. And anytime that we send out a call, we have a hall full. So for that, I wouldn't say there's a particular strategy because it's always automatic. And by the way, Leading Change has been a very formidable partner to the growth of the African Enterprising Woman. One of our very first grants was given to us by by leading change. So I'd like to say thank you to the leading change team for that. Okay. I hope that answers the number 2. Number 3, what threats and growth opportunities like in your business? What's the threat and growth opportunities in your business? Threat is the fact that we have to deal with parents. Some parents are very, very nonchalant. So there's that fear of always having to do the same thing over and over and over and over, convincing them, because they are also one part of our customers, because some of them have to pay the fees of the students. Another threat is we pride ourselves for having physical gatherings a lot, but we are seeing the innovations and the times, right? So we were able to, put together, we're currently structuring our e-learning platform, but now we feel like there's already a lot of e-learning platforms. So we must find ways to stand out, to come out different. And we're currently looking at focusing on the African market, because what we see out there is very generic, and it's also very westernized, if I could put it that way. So what we are designing is more for the African community, right? So I think on a global scale, that's like a big threat. E-learning platforms are pretty much everywhere now. So we must be able to come up with something very unique to be able to stand out and cater for the needs of our target audience. For growth, I mean, anywhere you see threat, when you see threat, you see an opportunity to grow, right? So that's giving us the work. We're now digging and doing our own research to see how we can, better distinct our product or our solution from other products or solutions or e-learning platforms out there. But we still hold fast, we still hold steadfast to the physical locations, because getting into rural communities that do not have that have limited resources, especially tech resources like internet, it's the physical location that would work, or that is working. And at Data Girl, we're currently, implementing a project to train 200 young women across 4 rural communities. And the major challenge is internet, So we have to be on site. And it's a growth opportunity for us as well, because we're expanding in rural communities, and we're taking tech to places that are not very well known. Hope that answers that as well. How do I keep growing myself as a young entrepreneur? I learn every day, and it's so hard to juggle all of it. I can't even lie. It's not easy, but one step at a time, you're gonna get into the door, right? So you just bend down and do the work, bro. So you have to learn every day. That's how I keep up. I learn. I read books. I attend seminars. I speak to people. When I go for networking sessions, I don't just sit in my corner and take nice pictures. I talk, I engage, I ask questions. I try to understand how other entrepreneurs do it, and learn from them. You must not always learn from someone who is very old, someone who is about your age, who is doing it. Just learn what they're doing. That's what I do, and it keeps me going. Okay, someone has a French question. Let's ask you a question. In the meantime, what are some of the businesses that you have helped women develop? Okay. So there are a lot, but coming to mind based on my recent activities around rural communities, we recently finished a project called Empower Her through my organization called the African Enterprising Woman. Empower Her is a project that's designed to train these women with digital skills that they need to sustain their business. Basically, we're teaching them how to use Facebook marketing, digital marketing pretty much, how to build teams and things like that. And through this project, what we do is we identify the ones that are lacking and have needs to grow this skill, the ones that need not only soft skills, but also need to go and, refine their skills to get better products in their businesses, especially small scale business owners. And we send them off to other boot camps that we cannot host at the moment to learn, and we pay for that. So when they go, they learn, the upskill pretty much, and that has a very huge effect in their businesses, because a lot of them have started their own small scale businesses within the community, and it's a beauty to behold. And so we're currently putting together funds to see how we can send a lot more of them to learn. We have women learning in bakery and what do you call this? The baking business, to make cakes and pastries pretty much. We have women learning the hairdressing, the hair, taking care of your hair pretty much, nappy hair and things like that. We have interior decor, we have facials and aesthetics. So we're currently just sending the last batch of 15 women to go learn. And once they come out, you see that excitement. I feel like that's a lot. But also, one of the students that have been part of our cohort that is growing an amazing business is Fien. Fien has a digital business called Bitacola. You can look her up. She's doing amazing well. She started as a full stack web developer. She's now a UI UX designer, product manager, she likes to call it. So Fien is one of the many others who are doing amazingly well in the tech ecosystem as well. So there are lots, but up on the top of my head, those are the ones that I can remember. Okay. Somebody says that not everybody speaks English, so do need to explain in French. Oh, it seems like the last session there was a translator, and this person feels like the session.
We actually have one session a month, but we alternate between French and English. So the last session last month was in French, and I believe this participant thought this one would also be in French. So let's just invite him to join us next month for the French session.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Ian?
Any other questions?
None in the chat, but I'm happy to receive if there are any other ones.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, I have a question.
Yes, please.
You mentioned 2 failed businesses that you had. And so what key lessons did you learn from your previous ventures, and how have these experiences shaped your approach to Data Girl Tech?
Right. So the first thing that I learned real quick, real fast, was I do not just bring anybody to my team out of sentiment, which is why I mentioned that whosoever you're bringing to your team should have the other part of the puzzle, should have the skill or the resources that you need to go to the next level, because familiarity sometimes would blindside you to realities, and you bring someone who is not an add-on to the team, rather takes away. So the first thing I learned was to be able to put sentiments aside when I'm hiring or when I'm having someone join the team. How that has helped me is I've been able to select the finest people that I work with currently, both at Data Girl and the African Enterprising Woman. I've been able to work with these young women, and I see the growth. Sometimes I get people who are willing to learn and grow rather than someone who is skilled and does not have the right attitude for the business, or do not understand the vision, or do not know how to run with the vision. So that is how that has helped me. Please, can you take your second question? I didn't pick that.
Oh, it was a one-part question. And
Okay.
you've answered it perfectly. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. All right. Next question, anybody?
Any other questions?
I have a question for anyone who's willing to answer, though. If there are no questions, I could randomly go to the chat and select. Can I do that? Am I allowed to do that?
I believe so, yeah.
Is Mada here? Mada with us? Oh, Mada left. Okay, yeah, Mada is here. Hello, Mada. Okay. Mada is not yet connected. Ben, can you hear me? Ben Salek. Oh. Okay. That's number 2. Okay, Ben is here. Ben, I'm guessing you're an entrepreneur. If you'd share with me your top 2. Oh, Ben is a French speaker. Ideally, my French comes out clear after 3 a.m. So is there someone to translate for us?
I can do the translation.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm trying to find out from Ben if he's an entrepreneur. Yes. Then my question would be if he can share with me 3 of his top challenges as an entrepreneur. And based off this session, whether there are any insights to helping him through those challenges. But now he's a French speaker, so.
Ok. Ben, j'espère que vous m'entendez. Bonsoir. Elle aimerait savoir déjà si vous êtes un entrepreneur.
Oh oui, j'évolue également dans l'entrepreneuriat, beaucoup plus
Ok,
précisément dans l'entrepreneuriat agricole.
super. So he is an entrepreneur and specifically in agriculture. Donc, elle demande quels sont les trois grands conseils que vous donnerez en tant qu'entrepreneur, ça c'est un. Et deuxièmement, quelles sont des choses qu'elle a mentionnées pendant cet entretien plus tôt qui vous permettraient d'exceller dans votre domaine?
Pardon, et les 3 grands conseils, si j'ai bien compris.
C'est ça.
OK, en tant qu'entrepreneur, bon, beaucoup plus précisément, je débute. Je dirais que c'est la persévérance parce que rien n'est facile, rien n'est un acquis dès le début. Voilà. Et également, bon, oui, la persévérance, vraiment le courage et une vision. Il faut avoir une vision et ne pas se lancer juste par effet de mode. Voilà. Parce que dans mon pays, il y a cela qui est vraiment fréquent, l'entrepreneuriat par effet de mode. Donc, il faut se lancer parce qu'on veut vraiment changer quelque chose. Donc, il faut avoir une vision claire de changer les choses.
Ok.
Ouais.
Déjà, je vais traduire cette partie-là avant de répondre, avant que vous ne répondrez à la deuxième
I
question.
understand. It's okay. You can
Ok,
go ahead.
super. Ok. Tu peux aller avec ta deuxième, enfin, la deuxième réponse.
Ok, tu peux répéter la deuxième partie?
Oui, bien sûr. Quels sont des conseils qu'elle a mentionnés pendant sa participation plus tôt qui vous permettraient d'exceller dans votre carrière d'entrepreneur?
Bon, à ce niveau, j'ai pris la réunion un peu en retard, donc je ne peux pas vraiment m'affirmer par rapport à son intervention.
Ok,
Okay.
d'accord. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Ben. Is there someone else
Thank
who
you,
speaks
Frida.
English that understands that can share with us the same thing that I just asked? If there's any other person, I'll be happy to get that. If not, thank you so much.
Anyone else? Okay, I do not see any hands. And that means you did a really good job at explaining everything during your presentation, Frida.
Right.
Thank you. If there aren't any other questions, I think we'll be at the end of the session.
Okay.
So
All right,
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Frida, for your incredible insights and contributions. It was truly an enriched session. Thank you to all our active participants today. It was a pleasure sharing the space with you. And I hope you found these discussions insightful and valuable. Before we wrap up, please take the time to please take what you've learned today, and apply it to your work, your studies, or your personal growth. If you have further questions or thoughts, feel free to reach out to us after the session. And thank you again, Frida. I hope we'll be in touch very soon, and I look forward to seeing you all at our next session in October.
Awesome.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, and
Thank
thank
you.
you